In today's news, Deputy Police Commissioner Alwin James Sr. awarded Queen's Top Medal, and scooter and motorcycle collisions lead in the BVI's 2020 accident with injuries.
As well as a look at what it takes to move the BVI forward in the midst of COVID-19, and USVI to mandate a negative COVID-19 test result beginning January 18th. All that and so much more on today's edition of 284 News. Stick with us.
Welcome everybody, it's Monday, January 4th, 2021. This is your first newscast of 2021. We're coming to you live and direct out of Tortola in the beautiful British Virgin Islands. I'm Ron Grant.
And my name is Javon Wilson. We are so happy to be ringing in the new year with you guys. Of course, so grateful for the support. And of course, as we head into a brand new year to deliver local, regional, as well as international content. Now, Ron, it is a new year, but unfortunately, we are bringing some baggage from 2020.
Of course, that happens.
Of course, into 2021. And that, of course, is the COVID-19 reality. And I think at the top of our agenda as a territory, there are a few things that stands out. First of all, the COVID-19 management.
Yes.
Now, we do know that the government of the Virgin Islands has done a really good job as it relates to monitoring the cases on the ground, but that did not come without some challenges. Firstly, not just here in the BVI, but also across the region, we've seen tourists breaching the quarantine, and that has, I think, brought about a lot of concern here, not only in the BVI, but across the region, Ron, because one of the things we're looking at is not just the importation of infected cases, but also the possibility of community spread. Also regarding the geofencing devices we've been seeing, you do know that we've been hearing mixed reviews.
A lot of inaccuracies and different reviews. One of the things that we have to bear in mind, Jovan, as we look at the protocols and the steps that we move forward to as it pertains to COVID-19 and the prevention of that, is that we have to prepare for the worst. If persons can, and I've said this before, if they can, they will breach the protocols.
Absolutely.
What we as a government and the BVI Health Services Authority and as a territory have to look at is prepare for the worst. What happens if and when these protocols are breached, if and when persons do their best to try to navigate the system? What are our systems in place? That's the most important.
And it's very important that you mentioned that, because we're not the only country experiencing this pandemic, so we can essentially look at what other jurisdictions are doing and especially learn from the geofencing capabilities. The next thing we're looking at is our testing ability as well on the ground. We do know that as a government and as a territory, we were able to secure a certain amount of test kits in the BVI. Additionally, we did see some support from the United Kingdom. But as it stands right now, I think the Premier had said initially we are to expect just about 1,000 persons in December. However, based on the records we've been seeing, quite a number of persons. As a matter of fact, that number has been surpassed in a major way. Thousands of persons coming back into the territory, which really leaves us at the question, are we in a position to test and to continue to test these persons coming back?
That's a very good question.
All right, viewers, so those are some of the things we're looking at as it relates to our testing ability, as it relates to the health aspect of things. But additionally, we are looking at balancing that scale with the economy. And we do realize even up until now, January of 2021, there is a dire need for us to reboot the economy, and not just the hospitality businesses, Ron. We also know about the temporary termination, and that deadline is actually coming up. It's this month. back in 2020, the Minister of Labor, Honorable Vincent Whitley, did say that January, that deadline will be pushed to January. So at this point, we're not sure if businesses will be able to retain their staff or may be forced to sever. So those are just some of the elements we are keeping our eyes on here at 284 Media as we head into 2021.
Most definitely. Now, beginning on the local scene, the Deputy Commissioner of Police, Mr. Alwin James Sr., has been awarded the Queen's Police Medal in Her Majesty the Queen's 2021 New Year honors. Now, James received this medal in recognition of his significant contributions to the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force, where he has served for some 35 years at both operational and strategic levels. Now, Acting Governor Mr. David D. Archer shared warm wishes to Mr. James, stating, and I quote, "I am thrilled to see the Deputy Governor the Deputy Commissioner receive the recognition from Her Majesty the Queen. I have seen firsthand his commitment in serving the self-sacrifice in line of duty. He is an exceptional leader and an asset for the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force and the territory of the Virgin Islands. I wish him my warmest congratulations on this distinguished honor." Now, James was appointed Acting Deputy Commissioner, Police Commissioner in 2012 and was promoted to the rank substantively in late 2013. He served as acting commissioner for an extended period since 2015 and played a critical part in the response to the catastrophic hurricanes in 2017. In addition to that, of course, in the aftermath of the hurricanes, and despite the lack of police resources and infrastructure, he worked to re-establish the territory's security during that very pivotal time. More recently, James has been instrumental to the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force in response to COVID-19, including efforts to secure the territory's borders. Police Commissioner Mr. Michael Matthews said, and I quote, "This is richly deserved and recognition to our Deputy Commissioner of Police, and it is not highlights his excellence in service to policing, but also is a testament to the dedication as he has served in the communities of the British Virgin Islands, and I have enjoyed the privilege of working hand in glove with Alwin James Sr. for the past 5 years, and he is without a doubt, one of the finest police officers and deputies I have ever worked with." Now, this award, of course, speaks volumes to his commitment and professionalism, continued the police commissioner, for his commitment and professionalism, and not only reflects highly upon him as an individual, but upon all of those who have served and supported him within his tenure at the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force. Now, of course, upon recognition, both Mr. James and particularly the police commissioner who he serves and works closely with, when he was asked for a comment, Deputy Commissioner Mr. James said, and I quote, "I am both honored and humble to be nominated and awarded the Queen's Police Medal. It has caught me by surprise. It is not one that I anticipated. I took an oath to serve the communities of the territory, and I have been doing that for some 35 plus years ago, and this is a proud moment for the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force and its members that contribute daily to assist me in delivering to the territory despite of the challenges." Now, Jovan, this is quite a significant contribution and award for Deputy Commissioner here in the British Virgin Islands, Mr. Alwin James Sr., who has been awarded the 2021 Queen's Medals. We, as citizens and residents, sometimes really, we're hard. By far, we're hard on the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force in what we require. But here we see one of our very own being applauded and really taken seriously for his contribution. 35 years within the police force is not an easy task, and we would like to contribute that to, of course, his staff and his commitment to the source. We congratulate him on a job well done, and of course this wonderful award to Alwin James Sr.
Absolutely, and I think this is also, complements the reason why he was also touted to be, sworn in as the commissioner himself. People were really rooting for him to take up that position because of his commitment and bravery in his line of duty. So we want to congratulate you, Mr. James, once again, as we move on. And now, viewers, we're going to go to a very quick commercial break, but when we come back, there's so much more. Stick with us. You're watching 284 News.
The wind! Oh!
What the hell?
I'm freaking out!
Is time. News.
Coming to you live and direct from the beautiful British Virgin Islands.
What's poppin', what's really good, what's happening, what's up?
Davis has won it for the Lakers.
Viewers, welcome back to 284 News. Now, the Football Association and the HLSCC Community College have formed a strategic partnership with the signing of a 3-year memorandum of understanding to develop local capacity in sports management and coaching. Dr. Richard George has said, and I quote, "This relationship will allow for the professional development of FA members and all stakeholders," as he commented on the signing. Of course, Dr. Richard Georges is the president of HLSCC. Now, some of these specific areas will be the use of HLSCC facilities by FA for training purposes, the use of the FA's facilities by the college for shared vision activities, and the FA providing regional and international contracts of interest to the college. Now, the college and the FA have been talking and working together for a number of years, noted Dr. Georges, and this memorandum of understanding formalizes the collaborative relationship while laying a foundation for more ambitious protocols and projects in the future. The use of HLSCC, the campus, is to provide training facilities. It will further enhance the Football Association ambitions to provide top-class education programs for its coaches, and according to the FA Technical Director, Dan Neville, this is another step to add to the recent partnership with the International Soccer Science and Performance Federation. He said, and I quote, "We are delighted to be working in conjunction with the college to deliver high-quality live and online coaching courses in the BVI and ultimately regionally. HLSCC's outstanding facilities and infrastructure will complement our coaching courses, perfectly to deliver a high standard of sports education, both locally and even regionally. Of course, making sure that we are at the top of the bar as it relates to football in the BVI. Now, the FA is also developing its own accredited foundation, of course, those level courses to act as springboards into CONCACAF level programs. Ron, we talk about sports development here in the BVI, and especially when it comes to football, we've seen quite a number of memorandum of understandings being signed and concrete steps being taken, not just by the government of the Virgin Islands, but by the association itself to ensure that our young people have a fighting opportunity, especially as we continue to see locals representing well on the regional and international scene.
Jovan, the Football Association here in the British Virgin Islands have been actively taking the responsibility of making sure that the youth and adults who are interested in the sport of football or soccer, as some call it, are actively involved in making sure that they're getting the necessary training. One of the things that we spoke about recently was the fact that the Football Association also signed on to make sure that coaches and persons who are trained within whether it's coaching, exercise, event of marketing of events and sports, that they're trained, and they now offer online services in collaboration with a United States company to make sure that all BVI Football Association coaches are being trained. So we see where as we talk about sports and as the officials, the government officials here in the BVI have spoken so actively about sports, we see where the Football Association is really taking the mantle and making sure that the needs of the Football Association, be it coaches, trainers, and of course the sport athletes, are being taken seriously. So we're very proud of that. Now, continuing on the local scene, 10 of the 15 accidents with injuries reported during the month of December alone involved scooters or motorcycles, believe it or not, with 8 of the 10 riders requiring hospitalization. Chief Inspector Daryl Robinson noted that December stats alone indicated that collisions involving these two-wheel vehicles are extraordinarily high. Half of these vehicles were removed from the scene before police arrived, likely to prevent, of course, confiscation, and these actions also suggest that the vehicles were likely neither licensed or insured. Now, in official comment, large numbers, he said, of scooters and cycles are confiscated by the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force on a monthly basis when used illegally on the roadways, yet the numbers on the roads are steadily increasing. Limits and conditions must be set by others in order to secure our community, both public and private, to regulate purchases and ensure that lawful requirements are fulfilled prior to procurement of these vehicles. Now, for the year of 2021, management policies will be necessary at all levels for there to be safety on the roadways and to really reduce the danger of riders, said the chief inspector. Now, in 2020, there were 5 road fatalities. Of those 5, there were 3 of those were a result of scooter collisions. Jovan, this has been a very daunting task that the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force has been set with to really regulate and to control the behavior of scooter riders and also to try their best to prevent the level of fatalities. When we look at the trajectory of our territory, laws are put in place, laws are set, the legislation is there. What we see though is, and one of our honorable ministers elated to that, the laws are there, but we see where the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force is not necessarily regulating and enforcing. And at the end of the day, when we have situations like this, these very daunting statistics, which many of the times really cause loss of life, whether it's a scooter rider or pedestrian or a driver, we really have to look at it as a community and figure out what we're doing wrong.
Ron, it's a tough situation to tackle because while we were, of course, speaking out against the ban on bikes, so we don't necessarily want to move to those extremes. At the same time, we all have to exercise some level of responsibility for this issue. Over the holiday season especially, there were so many complaints, especially on the community boards, about the noise pollution. And I'm not sure if our riders are really taking it seriously. Not only that, every day you look around and see persons riding around without a helmet.
That's one.
Risking their lives, and not just their lives, but the lives of other users on the road. So we have to be very, I think it's time for us to take a different approach, honestly. I do not feel like our young people are adhering to the rules, and I think the police officers like Honorable Kyra and the minister responsible for that portfolio.
When it comes to that aspect.
Absolutely. They're not doing enough when it comes to scooter riding. I think that's something we can all agree on.
They see it, but they don't see it.
Our viewers, and in the USVI, Governor Albert Bryant is now imposing a mandatory negative COVID-19 test come January 18th. He said no one will be allowed to enter the USVI, of course, via air travel without that negative COVID-19 test. And action, he said, is being undertaken in partnership with the airlines. The governor referred to the move as, quote, one more measure we think is going to keep everybody safe, end of quote. Now, speaking during his COVID-19 response update press briefing, Governor Bryant said, and I quote once again, effective Monday, January 18th, no one will be allowed to get on a plane to the U.S. Virgin Islands unless you have a negative COVID-19 test. And viewers, the directive is for everyone and not just for tourists. He further said, and I quote, that means that me, you, Granny, everybody cannot get on a plane. So when you make your reservation to go to the States for medical or whatever leave, please just figure out when you can get a COVID-19 test within 5 days of you coming back to our beautiful Virgin Islands. Now, viewers, according to the Department of Health's latest report, the territory as of Wednesday had 124 active COVID-19 cases. There was 57 on St. Croix, 49 on St. Thomas, and 18 on St. John. St. Thomas, of course, is leading the territory with COVID-19 fatalities. That number is at now 15, followed by St. Croix with 7 and St. John with just 1, according to the Department of Health, for a total of 23 fatalities as of last Wednesday. Now, Governor Bryant said that the airlines have been helpful in implementing the new directive, which he believes will be effective. He said, and I quote once again, you won't be able to check in, you won't be able to get your boarding pass unless you are able to display the test taken within 5 days of your departure from wherever it is you're coming from. Now, viewers, the administration about 1 month ago announced a similar effort, though it was solely with American Airlines, while the latest directive is part of a blanket move to cover air passengers arriving into the territory. He said, and I quote, I know we're going to have a snafu. It's not going to run smoothly at first, but we think that when we do this, we are going to be able to keep everybody safe. Now, relative to the administering of COVID-19 vaccines, Mr. Bryant said that over 870 Virgin Islanders were vaccinated. As of Thursday, the Department of Health Commissioner corroborated the data with the VI consortium, telling the publication that the data found on the U.S. news organizations such as Bloomberg showing the territory had only vaccinated 147 persons was highly inaccurate. Now, Ron, I think from the beginning we recognized that the rules and regulations in the USVI were very lax compared to the strict restrictions here in the BVI, but here we see the USVI retracting what they were doing, recognizing that the numbers are going up as something that they can't seem to control. So here we see them putting mechanisms in place to ensure that that curve goes down.
I think the move by the Governor Albert Bryan Jr. Is one that we're going to continue to see across the region as territories move into the new year. It is going to be more important that they continue to be very stringent and protective of their residents and their economy and their territory in order to really continue. When you have the large amount of surge in cases, Barbados is an example, and we're going to get to that after our commercial break. But when you have those large amounts of surges in cases, it really threatens the all aspects of the economy, tourism, and it just backpedals on the progress that you've made. So what Governor Bryan is doing, while it might be seemingly tough, I think it's necessary. And for the U.S. Virgin Islands in particular, who has struggled continuously, they have the support of the U.S. mainland, and they've been receiving the vaccines. But with that being said, they still need to be proactive, and I think this is a proactive measure.
Absolutely. One of the things we're monitoring as it relates to the USVI as well as the new strain of COVID-19, of course, that has had the world in a new panic, especially coming out from the United Kingdom. It's now been recorded as close as Florida.
Yes.
And when you think about Florida in proximity to the USVI, it brings it very close to the region.
I
agree. Again, a very necessary move by Governor Albert Bryan. I know it will definitely change the scope of things as it relates to tourism. But definitely we'll be keeping you updated on that. Now, still ahead, we did mention Barbados. There's quite a surge happening in Barbados out of the prison facility. And Antigua and Barbuda, they're stepping up to assist in whatever way they can. So stick with us. All the details after this quick commercial break.
Father Jesus, that line here long like church service.
Alright, do enjoy the rest of the day. Next customer line, please. Wait, hold on a second.
Yes, Sonny Boy, come, yes, Sonny.
Good morning.
Good morning, Sonny Boy. Hold on there. You must have cut fun topic.
It's okay, I'll take care of it.
What? No man to take care of me.
How may I assist you? You want top of power?
You want top of power?
Join the prepaid party with CCT and enjoy more affordable data plans, more top-up promotions, more savings with hero bundles, and more value for your money each and every Tuesday with Top Up Turn Up Tuesday. Visit a CCT store today or anywhere CCT Top Up is sold and top up your phone.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You want top of power?
Viewers, welcome back. You're watching To It For News. Now on the regional scene coming out of Barbados. Authorities in Barbados have confirmed 161 new cases of COVID-19 at Her Majesty's prison in Dodds, including 113 inmates outside of the 161 cases connected to the prison. Now there have been a further 33 cases of COVID-19 identified in the past 48 hours. The authorities have indicated that the Pan American Health Organization is carrying out a geometric analysis to determine whether these cases include the new, more contagious form of the virus. The cases at the prison have been linked to the super spreader bus crawl on the Boxing Day, which took place in Barbados. Now, health authorities say intensive contact tracing continues really into the bus crawl, with the people in bars and restaurants being tested. 2 other clusters have been investigated. Meanwhile, the curfew will be now implemented from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. from January 2nd to the 14th. During this period, of course, bus crawls and similar events have been prohibited. Funerals have been limited to 10 mourners and weddings limited to the bridegroom 2 witnesses and the officiating minister. Barbados is also looking to begin the use of tracking bracelets to monitor those in quarantine. Jovan, very daunting and tragic news coming out of Barbados, where we see, which has been the case in the U.S. mainland and of course across the region, where a prison facility has really seen a surge, and now that has transpired to the territory. Similar events like bar crawls, parties have seemingly been the gist of it.
Absolutely, and what we know about that bar crawl situation, even in Barbados, the fact as well, again, tourists breaching the quarantine.
Correct.
And quite a number of places in the region
So
are
it's not
still
a problem that's subjected to the BVI. That's important.
Absolutely
too.
not. Absolutely not. We do remember the first case, I think the first stringent case, Cayman Islands, that young lady and her boyfriend being charged and sentenced to 4 months in prison. But a lot of countries in the region are still yet to really enforce those protocols. So here we see persons recognizing the rules might be a bit lax and
taking advantage.
Absolutely. So we have to continue to monitor that. And I think it's a really dire situation when you come to think of it. In a matter of days, they went from a 12 a.m. curfew.
Yes.
Then within 24 hours, their Prime Minister, Mia Mottley, announcing that it will be switched to 9 p.m.
Yes.
So definitely a lot of those Christmas activities were canceled. I know I have a few friends down there in Barbados, and they were not happy about that. But nevertheless, doing what they need to do to protect themselves and their families. Now, we do see the Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda, Mr. Gaston Brown. He is now offering to assist the government of Barbados as the country's coronavirus cases continue to climb. He said, and I quote, "I was deeply troubled to learn of recent events in Barbados that have caused a sudden surge in the number of COVID-19 cases, despite all the diligence and careful protocols that your government implemented to ensure that the virus did not spread within the community." Of course, that letter, viewers, was penned to the Prime Minister of Barbados, Mia Mottley. He further said, and I quote, "Apart from expressing my solidarity with you, the purpose of this letter is to advise that while our border authorities will continue rigid adherence to our protocols for entry into Antigua and Barbuda, we will not be prohibiting travel to and from Barbados," he ended. Now, the Prime Minister expressed confidence in the Barbadian people, health and law enforcement systems to combat the challenge and to bring the situation under control. COVID-19 cases in Barbados have been rapidly increasing after several breaches of health regulations took place over the Christmas weekend. A bus crawl, like we mentioned, held on Boxing Day, December 26, led to 45 new COVID-19 cases. Yes. And ever since, Ron, it's been quite a daunting situation on the grounds in Barbados, of course, just because persons cannot adhere to the protocols.
Yeah, and what we see here is a continued partnership between Caribbean regions, and just a simple letter of support, letting persons know, letting leaders know that we are with you, we're going to do everything we can to support you, I think goes a very, very long way. Where the Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda would pen a letter to Mia Mottley and her team over in Barbados, I think it definitely brings solidarity as a region. We continue to fight to protect our residents in the fight against COVID-19.
And especially because within the region we understand the importance of tourism and not shutting down that pipeline. All right, viewers, I think that is all we have for today, but you can be sure to follow us for daily news updates on 284media.com. We're also on Facebook at 284media and 284BVI on Instagram as well as Twitter. My name is Javon Wilson.
And I'm Ron Grant. It is always a pleasure. We wish you a happy Monday as we continue to bring you your daily dose of local, regional, and international content. Of course, we'll be back here tomorrow at 284 News, your source for honest and impartial news. Have a beautiful rest of the day. Bye-bye.